Welcome to this week's edition of the Data Center News Show. I am your host, or I pretend to be your host, Amy Palvido, and this show is proudly sponsored by Ellis Electric. Well, I don't know, it's sponsored. I'm just saying, I'm assuming you're proudly sponsoring it. I think it's just kind of interesting. I would assume you're proudly sponsoring it. And today we are going to talk about. I should have, y'all. I should have had the Need for Speed. What movie is that from? I got the need for. Is it Fast and Furious? I
Days
got
of
the
Thunder.
need. Days of Thunder. I
That
have
was
the
a quick
need
answer.
for speed. That's what we're talking about. The need for speed. So anyway, so
No. I'm going to take that back. Same actors, but that was Top Gun.
oh, it was Top Gun.
It
Oh,
was
okay.
Top Gun.
I'm not good at movie references.
It's Goose says that to Maverick, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yes, that was their thing, their mantra before they got out there. I got the need for speed. I should know this. Like I'm an 80s girl. I should know Top Gun. Anyway, all right. We're gonna talk about how speed strategies, if you think of it, we're gonna think of it holistically from a behind the meter power generation, which is why Wyatt's here, workforce strategies, which is Allie here, supply chain, which is why Andy's here. And we're all just gonna have a really cool conversation about how we can get data centers built faster and streamline the process. So that's the whole plan, Stan, for this week. Kind of threw it together last minute. Oh, did I admit that? Okay. All right. We're going to let our folks introduce themselves. Ladies first. Go, Allie.
Hi, Amy. Thank you for having me back. My name is Allie Burton. I've spent the last 25 years working in companies like McKinsey and Mortensen, helping them accelerate talent and all sorts of things. The last 2 years, I've been working on building my own strategic advisory business where I help workforce accelerate across specifically the data center space, which has some of us biggest skilled trade gaps and needs that all of us are going to be talking about today. And I'm also the co-founder of Obsidian Development Group with Eric Bondo and Kevin Monzi, and we're developing data centers across the country. We've got 3.5 gigawatts in execution right now. So we're solving all the problems today, you guys. You go, Wyatt.
Yes, exactly.
I feel like I'm here to create problems. That's what it feels like every day. If I look at my inbox, it's creation of problems. You think you put out one fire and you actually started 10 more. Hey, Wyatt Pemberton, Critical Grid Solutions here in Houston, Texas. Amy, again, thank you for having us on. Appreciate working with you for the past year and this effort, nonetheless, fun. We solve problems. We're go to a lot of those problems though revolve and are oriented with powering land, powering solutions, getting more out of your installed capacity. Being more efficient, decarbonization, sourcing gas, sourcing power, sourcing equipment, all pieces of that, sourcing labor.
Yep.
And then the big one, sourcing capital.
Yep. All of the above. Yeah.
Here, present, accounted for. Thanks for having me on.
Present and accounted for. Thank you. Thank you for coming. And last but not least, Mr. Erdem. Is he frozen? There he is. Andy, are you there? There he is. I see movement. Oh, you're on mute, buddy. And I unmuted. There. It's great. Whatever you're saying, Andy, it's great. That's all I'm saying out loud.
I believe him.
I believe him too. You're muted, and I'm trying to mute you. I really am. Okay, I muted you. Let's try again. You're good. I got you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes. See,
all right, I'm not going to touch my keyboard. So we are the proud sponsor of the Data Center News Show, and very happy to do that. And we're excited about actually even coming to a trade show in Austin where we might be able to do a quasi live show in September. So that should be fun. But anyway, Ellis Electric, basically, I used to say where the power line stopped is where we started with high voltage transformers transformers all the way down to medium voltage gear and medium voltage transformers to low voltage gear, and then distribution units like PDUs and our MUs. But we are now bringing out high voltage products. We brought out a dead take circuit breaker. We showed at IEEE last week. We'll be shipping that in a pretty amazing 20 to 24 month range, which is very competitive. So in general, we have competitive delivery, and sometimes a lot better than some other folks. And we try not to give you any fluff information. When we say we're going to have it on your site at a certain date, we try to do that, and we've been very successful. We've had some major data center projects over the last couple of years that have done that. Just recently, we received an order for multi-millions of dollars of medium voltage vacuum breakers that are going to be going to Bloom Energy to support the Oracle project for gas generation. And we've also received switchgear orders and things. So we have there's a lot going on. So our company is really expanding fast. We're hiring a lot of people, and we're going to probably double in shipments this year versus last year. And last year was a major record for us. So I think probably the craziest thing that we have to watch out for is just making sure that we don't overextend ourselves. And we're also very aggressively adding to our manufacturing in North America. So we're expanding our facility by 300,000 square feet in Utah that builds gear. And we have two lines making breakers in lovely Bastrop, Texas. I'm based out of headquarters in the U.S., which is outside of Chicago. And look forward to seeing how we can help.
Yeah, it's great. I'm gonna start talking about fast. So data centers go as power goes, and I didn't prep y'all for this, but y'all know how the show rolls. In 2025, China built 543 gigawatts of power in one freaking year. How on earth did they do that?
Lack of permitting. That's
But even then, put you on it.
Yeah, exactly. But even then, like supply chain, like how did they get the transformers? What on earth did they do to get 543 gigawatts of gigawatts in a year? Like I don't get it. It would be really cool use case if they give up the secret sauce. So I don't know.
Well, they took LS's designs and they reverse engineered them, and then cut out the middleman. And when the country in and of itself is the financier of all of it, it becomes pretty easy. Like their path to power is a lot faster. And then you got the United States. We are very, very happy to retire our coal-fired units, but then our coal industry is still propped up by shipping coal to China. So I look at this is a decarbonization conversation for another time, but I will say if you're in your pool and you pee in the deep end of the pool, there's still pee in the shallow end of the pool in my book. And that's how I look at it. If we're gonna emit, and we're gonna have coal emitters, and we're gonna shut down the coal emitters in the deep end of the pool, meaning the United States, then we shouldn't allow them to emit in the other end of the pool, and that's in China, especially global trade winds go.
We shouldn't ship them coal, is basically what you're saying.
No, but we also should have never shut down our coal, just like Europe should have never shut down their nukes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think London, there's several countries that went coal free, right? They chose it. Yeah. So it's just interesting.
Let's not fall down that rabbit hole so early. Hey, Andrew. Congratulations to LS on that Bloom contract. I saw that was $220 million. That's not an insignificant deal. But also the thing that really excited me, news I saw out of LS recently, was you guys are expanding your lines into the 345 kV transformers. And that's, in my book, that's huge. The last quotes we got on that were like 54 months to transformer delivery.
Correct. In fact,
Did we lose him?
Sorry, you cut off a little bit. I didn't hear the last part. If you could repeat that, Wyatt.
Yeah, the LS has extended their product lines into the 345 kV transformer world, and the last I had heard on our numbers were 54 months to delivery on if we put in a purchase order today on those. So it's nice to see another company stepping in to fill that shortfall, that that lack of supply in the 345 space.
Correct. Yeah, we actually doubled the factory this past year in Korea, and they're looking where they might actually expand even another factory or another line somewhere. So one of the things we're looking at is I'm kind of on a task force right now where we're looking at some areas in the North America area if there's a place where there might be where we can build transformers in the future.
What is your current time from purchase order to delivery on a 345 transformer today?
I'll have to get back to you. I don't have that at the top of my head. Our grid power team, Mr. J.W. Shim, would be the best guide to do that. Are you looking for quantity? What quantity are you looking for?
I think we're just looking at availability right now. 54 months to delivery is not really optimal. The things that we have worked on is worked with a couple host utilities or local utilities, IOUs that have some in inventory, and us doing, I don't want to call it a borrow replace program, but that's kind of what we're looking at, is that we would take their piece of equipment and hand them our purchase order, so they have our delivery, and our delivery comes into their inventory, however many months in the future that equals. That's kind of what we've been working on. There's been some utilities that are very open to that, and then others that are absolutely not. So
interesting. So
that's very smart.
So let's talk speed strategies. That's one. So we're gonna talk supply chain. We have a new entrant into the data center news show today. Mr. Howard Berry decided to grace us with his presence. Thank you, Howie. You're still on mute, buddy. And I'm not going
to unmute myself. Hey, how y'all doing?
Good. Welcome to the show. All right, introduce everybody to yourself, and then we're talking all sorts of strategies on how to get deals done faster, get data centers built faster. That's what we're talking about on the show today. So, but introduce yourself first, sir.
Who's first? Me?
You. Everybody else
Me?
is gone.
Howard Berry. Does anything happen fast in this business? No. Mr. Wonderful's making it harder on everybody. So yeah. But Howard Berry, Avison Young, I run the National Data Center platform at Avison Young, and we're all things data center real estate related, and just keep going.
All right, you brought it up. I was going to talk about it anyway. When did Mr. Wonderful get into data centers? And not only that, 10,000 acres of a data center in Utah, because he knew what it was, and he saw Andy and his folks are going into Utah, so he's like, "All right, we're good. We can build out a data center here." I'm just kidding, but go ahead, Howie.
No, well, what did we jump the shark when Mr. Wonderful gets involved in data center business?
Apparently.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a problem. They're going to have a big water use because of the power generation. They're doing nat gas, and I don't know how you get 5 nines out of self-gen, and it's quite comical just to see how many people have jumped on board now and just saying how they're going to use these data centers to capture all your information and sell it, and
Yeah, I'm glad he's fighting that battle. He can fight it. He's got enough influence. I'm cool there. So he's doing nat gas, but and I know he said he was going to do 10 gigawatts or something crazy. It's like a Rick Perry Fermi America announcement. But I just don't know how he gets the turbines. Everyone and their brothers hunting for turbines too. So because he's Mr. Wonderful, I guess he's getting them. I'm not sure, but it's an interesting thing for You know?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who takes that space.
I know, right? Who's he going to sell it to? I'm sure you'd sell it for him, wouldn't you, Howie? You'd lease out that space, wouldn't you?
I would make a consideration for him. Yeah.
All right, very cool.
But
Okay, so the next topic I want to talk about is preparing. Obviously, we've streamlined strategies around. Okay, we're going to do where the thought is now that most data centers are preparing themselves for behind the meter power generation. They are. The workforce considerations are substantially different, right? I would assume, because now as a developer or the data center developers, the front end folks that are looking through things, you're having to navigate at the community level probably lots more electricians and lots more oil and gas people. And the conversations I've been having over the last year have finally evolved to where the data center guys are actually asking me very pertinent questions around oil and gas. So, Allie, I just wanted to throw this one over to you. Like, what you're a developer too. So, what are you seeing from on the community standpoint and the workforce standpoint? Are there shifts changing, or is it just like all hands on deck? We don't care how we get in. We're just gonna get them there. What do you think?
Well, that was loaded. I'm gonna
pick
that one apart later tonight. And some sort of anxiety, panic attack before I go to sleep. The fact is that 2.5 workers leave for every 1 worker that enters the skilled trades, and we kind of did it to ourselves. And Wyatt mentioned it earlier. We offshore everything; those skills aren't needed, so they go away. I think I saw a statistic that 99% of a particular school district in my state, their students won't pick up a hammer before they graduate. And it just breaks my heart to think, all right, well, we've got some opportunities, perhaps. This is our opportunity to come together and maybe stop thinking about this in such a commoditized way. I think, we're going to have to support each other through this. There's no Microsoft program. There's no AWS program. There are electricians. And Amy was on a workforce call with me this morning, and we've got a national committee these are the hardworking people of the world, ladies and gentlemen, the nonprofits, the locals, the job training folks, trying to bring together all of these different training solutions and figure out a way to accelerate them faster. So I'm no expert. I've just been in the pits for a while. I'd love to hear what these gentlemen have to say and what they're hearing, because the more we communicate on what's happening, the faster we knit it together and solve. We're going to have to skill a lot of people. And we've got a lot of kids coming out of school who have degrees that perhaps won't be in alignment with what's needed tomorrow. So how are we going to fill that gap? And then lastly, let's put our money where our mouth is. One of the biggest barriers to education and reskilling, besides safety in a community, is the cost of education in this country. Become a skilled person. So how do we create learn to earn programs and think about our own crumbling infrastructure? I appreciate the Chinese comment. I'm not saying we don't forget about that, but we've got some major opportunities in this country. So I welcome that conversation, because I think there's some smart people on this call that might have some solutions.
For sure. Howie, you started as an electrician. Do you remember those days?
I was an electrician. Yeah, I started my career as my grandfather was one. My dad, I'm an electrician. I still do electrical work sometimes, but it's. I think we're gonna have to scare people into taking electrician jobs, because I don't know if these kids can do it now. Like it's and I'm Gen X, right? Gen X, we're like tough. We got into it. We're like having a job in the labor, and being a labor. A plumber, whatever. It's they were good jobs. Now it's kids are. I don't know if they're challenged enough to do it, but I am encouraged by seeing some people realizing that, hey, maybe working in a warehouse isn't a great job. I can get some skilled labor, and we got to get out there and capture those people that want to learn to have a skill and make more money. So
yeah, for sure. Does throwing labor at it solve the problem? Go, Andy.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that education system is somewhat broke. So the technical colleges need to continue to step up. And you know, outside of we have a pretty nice facility for training in Bastrop, Texas. So we reached out to quite a few of the local technical schools, even through the high school, that were willing to have people come in and learn about switchgear and actually go through official training if they want to. So I think more manufacturers or more companies need to do what they do in Europe, where they kind of they work with one of the great programs I heard about years ago in Germany was for the automotive industry. It started at, but then it moved to other industries, where a student goes to school for 3 months and then spends 3 months at the company, then goes back to school, and it's all kind of orchestrated that way. And at the end of like 4 or 5 years, they come out with the equivalent of not only a bachelor degree, but some of the people might even have a master's type of education, and they have pretty much a 99.8% placement with the company that sponsored them. So it addresses the cost of education, because the company that's sponsoring these people help, pay for that. They get a stipend. I think it was years ago it was €1,000 a month or something like that, which doesn't seem like a phenomenal amount of money, but I think it was enough to cover some basics for the students, so they didn't have to have as tough as themselves to pay for it, or their families. So I think we need to kind of be more creative, and then also we need to leverage more online training and more capability of being able to use what we're doing today with our computers to be able to convey and talk and also educate. The education system in the U.S. is not working. So we need to find alternate paths, and that's manufacturing, that's industries to do that. I know it's a big ask, but I think if we wait for the education system to fix itself, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, unfortunately.
I mean, it's getting slapped in the head a couple of times with AI anyway, so I don't know how it does anything else, right? Like, how does it?
Not structured to be agile, right? It's a German learning system, so that memorization, and let's not forget like the overlay of Taylorism and productivity and building compliant workers, all the things that we need to have components of those to be good citizens for sure. But perhaps we've all taken our eyes off the road, and so I solemnly swear as tribute to spend the rest of my life picking this apart, because my mom was a superintendent and an educator, and I know, to your point, Andrew, my grandfather was in the civilian conservation corps. He would have gone into the mines with his dad and ended up in the Depression getting 3 meals a day and an opportunity to be outside building pathways in the Wenatchee National Forest here in Washington. And then he became, then he went to World War II and became a trained mechanic and worked for the city of Seattle. So he had this pathway. And I think you're right. We need to figure out a way to get back to those pathways. I don't know what the pathway is. I do know that we need more people with candles lighting the way. And from a personal standpoint, having worked as an operator for operators for many years, it is incredibly difficult to get this industry to do anything together. And that's potentially a pace thing, but it's something that we have pushed down into HR and operations. And I go, who's on first here, guys? Karen and HR be responsible for a 3 million person skilled trades cap. Like, this is on our watch. So Gen X, I know, I don't want to do it either, dude. Howie, I'm with you. I'd rather just be like, come on, just harder. Like, why do I have to show this to you? But I'm also parenting.
You could learn skills in high school growing up, like auto shop. It was like I was selling cars out of auto shop.
You're selling cars.
I did. That's another story for later. But yeah, you were learning. You could learn woodworking. There was all these skills that you had. I don't know if they still do that. And
not much.
Some. Do they have that option? Right.
Yeah, they have shop at my kids' middle school. I think they pushed it down to lower grades, honestly. Because now in Texas, you have to pick a something you're going to study in high school. So like business or science or blah, they have to pick it in high school, which is really weird.
Which is wildly problematic. I mean,
I know.
like who knows what they want to be when they grow up? I'm still trying to figure it out. So,
I know. I'm with you. I'm with you there.
Wyatt, you grew up.
Yeah.
no, I'm working on that. But my solution is very similar, kind of where Andrew was at. Like, okay, we go into these communities where we're trying to develop power plants and data. And what is the first thing we hear from economic development or county commissioners or county judges or mayors? We hear, yeah, we don't care what jobs you're going to have there because they aren't going to come from our community. And we've heard that from every single community that we've been engaged in. We don't, it's going to be skilled labor. Well, where is this community that's producing all these skilled laborers that we're bringing into these other communities? I'm trying to find where that one is because I don't know where that exists. So why can't the communities we go into be those communities? Maybe it's not on day one that the jobs that we have are local guys or local ladies, but exactly, let's do a program with the local high school or the local VOTEC or community college or even a local university and say, okay, you guys are going to have your on-campus course and then you're going to have your labs, and your labs are going to happen out here at our facility. And you're going to go through, just like if you go to, you're taking biology, you've got a 3-hour class in college, which is an hour of class time and 2 hours of lab. Well, let's do the same. Let's do the same for, is it techs? Is it welders? Is it electricians? Is it computer IT data guys? And then make your facility, like, I'm not saying it's a community college, but let's something to give back or leverage or whatever the local guys, because that is the concern across the board. Yes, we know you're going to create jobs, but they're not going to be filled by locals. Okay, well, again, I just don't know where those locals are coming from. I mean, we've got to, but to Howie's point, I don't know how we motivate the current generation.
What's going to happen 20 years from now, right? Or what happens if they do something naughty, which we all know some have done on the backs of people who weren't paying attention or didn't have, the expertise in their cities to perhaps create, right? We all know there's those stories. I go, where's the collective accountability and responsibility? To your point, Wyatt, it's a community thing. We want the community to own it. I mean, I don't think any of the big companies want to be flying their techs all over the country. It wastes money. To our original decarbonization conversation, we're not going to have enough service folks for the equipment that we've already created, and we don't have a vendor agnostic training. I mean, we're up the creek, and I don't know. I feel like Chicken Little. I just go, I've been hiring for 20 years, and this is pretty scary gap that we have. And Amy, you mentioned AI with the shift in how we work and the things that we work on. There's going to be a big disruption of folks. I kind of imagine a little bit like a 1930s Grapes of Wrath. So how do we get ahead of that and perhaps keep people in their communities and building and staying there in perperpetuity? I'd love to solve for that. Can you guys do that? That'd be great.
Okay, thanks. I'll do it tomorrow.
Howie's got it.
I was going to say at Rellis campus at Texas A&M, they have a great training program for high wire tension lines. You could be a beekeeper out there. They have an amazing campus. What they train people, and they're teaching skilled labor positions, and not only that, but robotics. But it's an amazing campus out at Rellis. We were doing a data center out there, but I was just saying, what is it? Let me see, a union labor, average union electrician makes $82,000 a year. A general manager at Buc-ee's can make $80,000 a year. So you want to work at Buc-ee's or be an electrician?
I've considered applying at Buc-ee's every time I've gone in and gotten gas, and I've seen the little A-frame
you see
sign
what you can make.
I'm like, I could sell kolaches.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, totally.
Andy, do you get the Buc-ee's joke? For all y'all that not in Texas, this is like it's like the gas station on crack. And like it's
Oh,
so large.
I know what Buc-ee's is.
Yeah. Okay.
They
All
have
right.
one in Bastrop, I believe.
Yeah, they do. They
Oh,
do have a big.
it was the
Yeah,
biggest one for a while.
it was. Yeah, I just want to be the Bucky that goes around the costume is this high and gets my picture taken every day, and I get like thousands of pictures taken of me, and nobody knows it's me. No, I'm just kidding.
We
You could
can
be
set
the
that up.
You could be the data center industry Buc-ee's.
Yeah, exactly. I could do that. Oh, that would be awesome.
Incognito,
Yeah.
like the Masked Singer.
All right, so let's talk about this concept of designing for manufacturer assembly, like modular. Everybody talked about modular construction, but I want to like make it broader a little bit more. So yeah, modular construction is one thing. You can stick a container village on your land and get up faster. That's groovy. And behind the meter power is starting to become more modular, where you can bring stuff in on skids and all that kind of stuff. But I would venture to say that that causes different challenges. But is there ways to kind of do cookie cutter 200 megawatt data center done, right? And is it? I mean, I know why you and I had a conversation about that's how you were planning on your power plants on some of the stuff that we were working on. Is like chunks of 200 megawatts here, 200 megawatts there. Does that provide any speed to doing things that way, other than maybe permitting, right? Because you've got a 200 megawatt thing, so you already know, or does
Well,
it not?
I believe that you're going to have speed to market, speed to COD through a designed approach. Because one, you save on engineering because you have this pre-designed engineering and you've already built it. You've got that speed with which you get approvals when you can point to a facility that already exists in place. It's a lot of, I'm not saying everyone, but there are people that do not really visualize what you're building and the concept and the size and the magnitude and the scale. And when you can point to a physical site where you've got drone shots and it's flown around and they can see the scale about what you're talking about, that lands for a lot of folks. It lands at the community level when you're having a community engagement, when they can, I'll give an example. Here where I sit in Southeast Texas, there was a proposed plant. They actually ended up quashing it. The community was able to quash it. But the problem with it was when the opposition came out and then they got the news involved, they were first to market with the news. And the pictures they ran of this gas fired, very nice. They would never have known the resource was there. It was quiet. They ran a coal plant. That was the video they showed of the facility, was this big, nasty, dirty coal facility. And they won in the court of public opinion and killed this nice, quiet, low carbon gas plant. They killed it because it was that. So as we talk about community involvement, I think that's where you've got to put something in the ground that is quiet, is water conservative, that you use as minimal water as possible, and you get there by less time in the community building a stick built. If you're going to be there for 3 years, you're going to tear up roads, you're going to use up the hotels, the restaurants. There is value there that you're going to put dollars in the community. But as we've talked to, again, the economic development councils, they don't care about those dollars at all because they're so hard to quantify. What they care about is how many jobs of locals are going to be there, and it's going to be none. So to the point of what can we do modularly? On the small stuff that Amy, you and I have been engaged on, because we can build everything somewhere else, show up, and really our days on site are 10, 15, 20 days. Sub 1 month, we're going to do site work, we're going to build a fence, we're going to put piers in, then everything else is ISO containers. That's pretty simple. It's when we have to stick built and we're there for 3 years. That opens up a completely different can of worms, and then the cost. So yes, I'm a big pro of taking off the shelf solutions. If we've already done the engineering, we've already paid the fee study. Now we're saving. It's not just time, we're saving millions of dollars. And you want to talk about moving the project forward faster? Take something off the shelf.
Interesting. Yeah, no, that's true. Amy,
Schneider's
did you
got
want to jump in?
18-month wait list.
Who does?
Schneider's got 18-month waiting list
For
for
what?
skidded,
Oh, for skidded.
modular and skids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Both.
Interesting.
But how we took to that point 18 months versus a GE Frame 7 that's at 5 years.
Yeah, we're doing something with a group out of China and actually getting it approved here for an off taker that's going to be a 9-month delivery. Just like you said, it's built, ready to go. We're just getting their product approved, but it's modular's hot right now,
So
which is
you
weird
just
to
said-
me because 4 years ago I couldn't sell those things to anybody.
You
We
just
didn't have the
said
labor shortage.
Voldemort, man. You just said Voldemort, by the way. You just said China. So what is going on with Trump going to China? And do we love them now? Like, I mean, like it used to be like they were evil. Are they no longer evil? What's going on? Do you know? Because you're getting stuff from China and they're okay with it. Howie, I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think we all get stuff from China one way or the other. If we
Right.
It's
that.
true.
So that's not the point. I heard that the Mr. Xi said that he felt that it would be better that if we work together as partners, the U.S. and China, than if as enemies. That was a statement I heard that came out today. So I have not heard of any statement that our administration or president has made in response to that. But that's I think that's kind of an interesting point that he put out there. And considering the Iran conflict war, by the way, I'm looking pretty good at my estimate of 4 to 6 months. Remember when I said that when it started?
You're doing good. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I would have been much happier if it was over much faster. But those things, the Middle East is a mess in many ways.
Yeah.
There's the turtle scorpion parable. Someday we'll discuss that over a adult cocktail. We need stuff from them. They need our marketplace. Can we find a better way to work together? We'll see. We'll see what happens. In the meantime, the only downside to doing pre-engineered systems, I see why it is the speed of change in technology that's coming. So as long as you have an eye to the future, that things are adaptable, because AC data centers, I believe within 3 years will be DC data centers, just because of what's coming out with NVIDIA and the power savings efficiency that you have going DC to DC versus AC. Data center has about 20-25% losses, and DC is projected to be on the high end 10%.
Yeah.
And so I think most people will move to that pretty quickly for cost savings. Right, Howie, you would do that. You take that bargain, wouldn't you? Would you say 15% and pocket it?
All day long, but someone's going to make even more on it. It's funny because I toured a telco yesterday and it had all this DC system in there, and you're like, tear it out, right? What are you going to do with it? Who's going to use it right now? But then we're so close to be able to utilize that power that
Stick a Vera Rubin in there. What are you talking about, Willis?
What's
No,
that?
I'm just kidding. Stick a Vera Rubin in there. Stick an NVIDIA Vera Rubin in there. That's what they're made to be, right? DC,
right?
Take DC straight to the thing.
Well,
efficient.
And then the next step there is the cooling. Is we go to liquid cooling over AC over the HVAC cooling, the air cooling. So I think we've got two revolutionary fronts that are coming to the data center world in the next. You say 3 years, Andrew. I think it's quicker. If we're talking about 3 to 5 years, it's probably like 18 months. It's this shift from AC to DC, and then the shift from air cooled to liquid cooled. Those two factors right there are going to jump efficiencies massively.
Mm-hmm.
But we've got to make the change. We've got to spend the money, or if we're already on stuff already in the ground, we got to start to put together a plan of how to convert and modify and modernize even things that are only 2 years old. We're looking to modernize them.
And do we have any workers that can work on it? Like, are we training the people to understand liquid cooling and how to do high voltage DC, right? Yeah. Go ahead, Andy.
Well, it's a good time.
Mm-hmm.
If there were no problems,
I think I think the issue modernization is, as long as you're engineering, your skids with the idea that you're going to need to update them in the near future, that's a great way to look at it. If you build it where it's not easy to retrofit, then that's going to be a downside. Okay, so I think that's going to be a key. Say, Howie, that's something you should also talk to your vendor about. That's
that's really interesting, because the modular is what it is. You can't modify that very well, right? And so, just like you said, it's when you buy that, you're going to use it just like it was built. And if you want to change something, you're not. I've rarely seen much modification to any modular design. So you got to stick with what you buy. And I don't know, is it good for 10 years, 12? I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's true. Can you imagine?
But I was
like the racks getting even taller, and every like data center, if they're trying to swap them out, they basically have to build new buildings because the rack's getting too freaking tall. I mean, they're already too heavy. Now they're going to get taller, I guess. I don't know.
Well, the new stuff is being built with 27-foot clear, so you've got plenty of room, right, to do that. I was going to say, changing subject a little bit, I don't know if you heard that Larry Fink comment about AI infrastructure and it becoming a commodity, trading power and data as a commodity in the future. It's like oil and gas.
Well, I've heard the discussion about it under the tokens, right? That we're going to trade tokens, the value of the token. I've heard it from that standpoint, but I think we'll I honestly think we'll get there. That the human will find a way to commoditize that compute, or the value of that compute.
It's more money into infrastructure build.
True, if you can do that, right? Yeah, for sure. And money makes the world go round, as Wyatt and everybody on here knows. Money makes the world go around. Like, it would be helpful.
Conscious capitalism keeps us balanced and honest.
Yeah, that's true. But we have to keep up with the 543 gigawatts that China just built, and who knows how many data centers they've gotten up and running since then.
Well, they have a lot of people. Maybe we could figure out a deal.
I don't know. Maybe.
Didn't Jensen go with Trump over to China?
There was a picture. It was like every well-known person, CEO, went on Air Force One over there. So it was like the Google CEO and Elon and Microsoft CEO and the Apple CEO. Like, if that plane went down, we would be so screwed. All these high-level CEOs and the president. I mean, like, talk about risk management. Who agreed to that? Like, that does not make any sense. But yeah, there's a bunch of them all traveling to China. Like, the weird one that didn't make sense to me at all, it was the CEO of McDonald's. Like, why is there a fast food guy?
People are hungry.
They needed something for lunch.
And ranchers selling their land to data center developers. I think they're worried about their burgers.
Oh, maybe. They're a very large real estate owner. I mean, if you think about it, McDonald's has a lot of freaking real estate. That's very true.
Maybe he brought a pop-up on Air Force One.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't
And a Starbucks.
Allie's out. She's tapping out. That was too funny for her.
Oh, that's true. I don't know. Yeah, that was like what struck a chord. I was like, what? What's the McDonald's guy? I don't know, but it is definitely interesting. They're headed over to China for some weird reason. So, my buddy Yang, such a good dude at Supermicro. We can't avoid this topic either, but everything that's going on with Supermicro and all of those crazy things, and they're reliving that. This whole thing with China is just it seems like it's a moving target, like everything else is. It's a moving target every day. But it seems unfortunate. It seems unfortunate that
What is it about Super Micro?
Their CEO or one of their founders was remember when we could not sell things to China? Like there was like this, you can't do that thing.
Right.
Well, apparently they were. So.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah. And I know that NVIDIA was selling a certain version, like we could only sell because that's how
Right.
we were trying to
The
limit
older.
them. Yeah,
Right.
the older versions of whatever. And so apparently they were, is my understanding, those the allegations are is that they were. I think they're such a good company. They're so needed and it's unfortunate is what I will say. Because we need as many services as we possibly can. I just don't know if that truly limits the innovation that China is going to do. Obviously, they're outpowering us, if I use that term. So I don't know. But we can talk about this race. I mean, the reason why there's the need for speed is because of what's happening in the world and who's going to dominate the AI conversation. And so, that's the reason.
Claude. I mean, I don't want to talk to anybody but Claude anymore. We're very close.
Claude's my buddy. I know.
Amy almost has me
My
converted to
therapist.
Claude.
I'm telling
almost
you,
there.
Claude is so good.
Yeah.
Like it's so good. And you can do projects now. I've learned how to do it. And you can make skills and you can do all these different things in Claude now that like the productivity, if you would just spend like 10 minutes and then if you don't know how to use it, ask itself. It'll tell you
No.
how to do things.
I just
It's
wrote an
amazing.
RFP for a megawatt data center in a data center. It's like it throws it all together with your logo. It's
I know.
so easy.
It's so easy now.
We
I
better
know.
learn some skilled labor here.
Yeah.
Ask you to play devil's advocate as your attorney. That's an
that's a
interesting
good one. Oh, I love those roles thing. I remember back in the day when I had it roast me. I asked Claude to roast me. It was pretty damn funny. Like
Yeah, that's a good one.
ChatGPT will do that to you too. No, and then it starts to get a little bossy with me every once in a while. I'll be like, I don't need your approval to do something. Just learn. I'm telling you this so you'll learn. I don't know. Yeah. When you want to jump in, Andy?
So I'd like to just change subjects slightly because we were talking about you're talking about how the power or that China has built big power stations.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but the automotive companies and the one that I read the article this week on was Ford has Ford Energy. So they're taking those EV battery plants that the EVs aren't exactly flying off the shelf, but of course, if gasoline gets to $10 a gallon, they might people might get excited again about them. But they're turning into energy storage is where they're going. And if you look
Makes
at
sense.
what battery energy storage for the next 10 years, it is one of the craziest upward lines I've ever seen. It's like it goes straight up to the moon. It's a rock. So I think to kind of combat China and some other things, and also the lack of power companies being able to generate more power, why we're doing behind the meter and everything else, I think the automotive companies getting into battery energy storage is a positive thing. Because I think that's going to help us, and that should help supply power not only for data centers but for other critical power things like hospitals, which are very important to have power, especially if you're in an operating room. That's job one.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. That's a great idea. I think I did have someone who is a very large real estate owner, and they said that the electric provider reached out to them to them if they would put batteries in their parking lots just for the energy production, right? Like, would you do this? I mean, like, and they would get paid rent. But the hardest part for the real estate owner was like, I don't know how to do this. Like, I don't, so it's, I think, a learning curve, but I think that's another solution. You have this distributed power where you got like batteries all over the freaking place, like making power. I don't know, like the NVIDIA home data center things. Like the home what was it, the home data center things with the power things next to them. Talk about distributed power in data centers. That's an interesting topic too. Did y'all see that, the scan thing?
Is that the home one you're talking
Yes.
about on new homes
Yes.
with Pulte?
Yes,
Yeah.
with Pulte scan. Like I mean, it's great in one sense. It sounds really cool. To me, is like, how do you maintain those? Like if you've got someone's got one at every house on the corner and like their blades go down. I don't know. No idea. But jump in.
More skilled labor. We're in trouble again.
We need it's all gonna be robots, Howie. It's all gonna be
Bring on the skilled robots.
Job security.
Job security.
Yeah. So Amy, I think that distributed power microgrids for is going to be the big future, and that's the reason why we need a lot of battery energy storage. For the gentleman that had the land, there's lots of people out there that will actually basically come in and put the solar in and put the batteries in, and they basically provide your power, and you sign like a multi-year lease with them for that power, like 10 or 20 years, and they maintain it. So I mean, that's for the more commercial user, or like a more of a neighborhood in a city type of thing. To have that type of arrangement is pretty prevalent right now by numerous companies. But for each individual household, I think old Pulte. By the way, I used to own a Pulte house years ago. Yeah, and anyway, I think that's something the builder needs to build into the package where it can be serviced, long term. But microgrids are coming, and I think it's a wonderful thing because I think power independence is going to be something that hopefully the planet can achieve over the next 20 to 30 years. It'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. I think from the distributed, sorry, I was just to jump in. The distributed power thing, I think from it, it's not so much that you have a co-located off-taker right next to them. It's that they were using it for a gen request. Like, so it's just connecting to the grid to produce power for the grid, is what they were trying to do.
So the battery is just a reserve, Amy. It doesn't produce power; it just holds it, and then
to hold it with the thing. Yeah, but if they're no, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I was going to throw onto that, for everyone's edification. I'm not a greenie. I do believe in low carbon, but I'm not really hugging trees or out doing that. I'm just trying to be smarter and more common sense around this. But also, I'm also very economically minded. I like a good challenge. And here in Texas, I just saw on the news even today was that blackouts and brownouts have been, on a steady climb. I've had 5 hours of outage just this week at our location here outside of Houston. And I'm not sure exactly, they blamed it on equipment. Okay, well, equipment or demand or whatever that equals. So our house, right now, you guys are talking to me right now. I'm on full battery. We are severed from the grid. We sever from the grid in the morning at 6 a.m. and we don't go back to the grid until 8 p.m. And we're just on our own little microgrid here, and it's solar and battery, and that's our resiliency. And we've tried it through hurricanes now and freezes, and it's been very good. But I don't know that the grid's really prepared for that, or at least the IOUs and the transmission service providers are ready for that. So on some level they are, but the deals that are out there for like my system, I have enough battery here to contribute to my whole street. I could probably run my whole street for a day, but I can't be paid for it. The way the system is set up, there's no real ability to earn a return on my CapEx. So I'm just installed capacity that has no way to liquidate to a favorable market. So I'm going to keep it to myself, and just, and while all my neighbors are offline, like they were 5 hours this past week, I'm sitting here taking calls with you guys, and my fans are running, my fridges are cold, my freezers aren't melting. And that's just how we're going to go forward. I think that there is, I don't know, maybe I'm a unicorn out there, but I think that we've seen companies like Base come in and install, and there's lots of opportunities, Tesla as well, where these virtual power plants, and they're trying to deploy them around the country. I think there's opportunity, but by and large, it's not favorable to the residential or the small commercial or the small industrial to participate in that world. It's been very much cannibalized by Base or Tesla. And let's just chant it back to private equity. Private equity has gotten involved, and the IOUs have stood in front of the PUCs and said that they don't want to convey that power. I mean, it feels like I don't like making broad sweeping suggestions that the field is stacked against the small residential participating, but the field is stacked against the small residential participating.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Time out. We got to do this. What's an IOU and what's a PUC? Your acronym is.
Sorry, I apologize. PUC, Public Utility Commission. So like in Texas, that'd be you've got ERCOT, then you've got the PUC, Public Utility Commission, and then IOU, Investor-Owned Utility. So like in Texas, so your Center Points, Encores, AEPs, or if you are California, your SoCal Edge, your PG&Es, or your Excel or PSCo or Southern Company. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. All right, go, Ellen.
I'm sorry, I gotta jump, guys. Have a great day.
Nice to meet you.
Well, yeah, well, we're at the end of the hour anyway. All right.
I gotta jump on the next meeting.
You do. All right. Well, before you go, tell people how they can get a hold of you, sir.
Oh, Howard Berry at avisandyoung.com. Find me on LinkedIn at Howard Berry. Great to be here.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. See y'all.
We'll see y'all next week. And Alan?
You can find me on LinkedIn because I decided to start too many companies, and that's probably the best place to find me. I can't even get to my email anymore, but I'm not complaining about that.
I hear you there.
Humans go do, and we're pretty lucky to have people like you guys in the industry that are spreading the good word. So thank you for letting me be part today.
Yes, thanks so much for coming. And Wyatt?
Wyatt Pemberton. You can find me on LinkedIn as well. That's probably the best place. Message me there. Happy to get back with you. Happy to connect. Amy, don't you normally ask like a creative question at the end that you make us end on some?
I do sometimes, but it's not in the brain power today. So yeah.
The bandwidth's not there. Well, thank you again for having me on.
Very nice to meet you again
and meet Ali.
That's great. All right, and Andy.
So once again, as a proud sponsor, we're very happy to be here and really enjoyed the conversation today. And Wyatt, I owe you availability on that transformer. I'll get you that. All right.
Exactly.
I actually texted the guy. I texted him while I was in the meeting, but I didn't hear back from him yet. So I'm going to call him after this meeting and track it down for you.
Yeah.
You do find your people. We're all multitasking while we're on a live podcast.
Of course.
Only the data center space.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got too much crap to do. We got to do business and do a live show. Yeah, for sure. All right. Coming up in a couple weeks, we will have very, very cool things. We're going to be talking about AI in media and sports stadiums and in athletic performance. So we're going to be talking with the very first female NFL coach, Dr. Jen Welter. She also played men's football, and she uses AI, like she's on the sidelines using AI to do all sorts of really cool things. How that integrates with the sports stadiums, and then in the media production, and how like sports is turning into AI. I don't know if you saw this, but they just had a spot on the World Cup in 2026. They managed that one series is going to make 90 petabytes of data, just that one series of the World Cup. So it's really, really interesting to see how live media production sports is really engaging in AI and how they do stuff on the field. So that's what we're talking about on May 28th. And next week, we'll be just talking about other fun topics too. So anyway, we'll see you guys.
Bye. Thank you for having us on.
Goodbye.
Bye.